Hi, I'm going to discuss how I'm going to make Julia's skirt. So I've made a quick diagram here that I can refer you to. At some stage along this process of making the skirt, I'll put all this in a file, in a PDF that you can download. But if you want to take a screenshot of this or whatever at this stage, feel free. There's nothing copyright about this pattern. Essentially, the waistband is this strip 130 centimeters long by 95 centimeters, 9.5 centimeters wide. It's folded in half, made into the waistband. The skirt itself is this big rectangle of fabric. It has this shape cut out where the waistband is inserted. You can't cut that as a straight line, because if you try to sew this waistband on around those corners there, you need to actually cut those rounded for it to fit in. So this rectangle is 1.7 by 1.3 and it's folded through the middle. So essentially you end up with this kind of sack-like thing which is sewn together at these side seams, and these points at the sides drape down. Okay, so I have started just making a calico here. I wanted to make a rough facsimile of the skirt before I cut into Julia's good fabrics, because although I made this design for her once before, I didn't keep any notes about it, and I can't remember what the exact size of the pieces I cut were. So here, this is the actual large rectangle of fabric, and I've already sewed the waistband in. Now I'm going to take this away and thread the elastic through the waistband and come back to you in a moment to show you how that finishes up. I'm back with the waistband sewed into the skirt. You can see how when the waistband's inserted, how the sides are going to fall. There's going to be a small point on this side and a much longer one on this side, and that in turn will cause the hem to fall in a handkerchief uneven line along the bottom of the skirt. Now this skirt is a really fantastic technique for a textile artist, because I'm often working on the flat fabric. For example, this is a stencil which I actually washed off onto this fabric. This is actually a piece of waste sheeting. This is a bamboo cotton sheet, but for me to embellish the fabric, working on this large flat rectangle is ideal for my techniques. I'm thinking, for example, this is a very large hand-cut stencil that I made a couple of months ago now. I still haven't used it yet, so there's plenty of scope that I could use it to print on the skirt fabric, considering that. And aside from stencils, I often use silk screens or various free painting techniques. So working on flat fabric is ideal, and this great big rectangle of flat fabric that forms the front and the back sides of the skirt facilitates that fantastically well. Hi, in this video I'm going to start embellishing some of the fabrics to be used in the skirt project. So I have here a piece of lightweight cotton muslin, I think it would be described as muslin, that Julia sent to be recycled into this skirt. It's very light, it's actually almost see-through if you pick it up, although it's a little heavier than a cotton lawn. but I'm going to print it with this cotton fabric underneath it because I know that the paint is going to seep through the print once I start printing on here. So I've mixed some paint. I'm going to use a sort of pale orange colour that will match this textile that Julia sent, sort of this colour. So I've mixed a bit of brown and orange and white to emulate that, and I'm going to go with this hand cut stencil of mine, cut out on heavy brown paper and varnished. Okay, so I've mixed the paint, it's ready to go. I'm going to print. As ever, I'm just holding the stencil down with my hand. There are mediums you can get that make the stencil sticky on one side, a removable sticky product. They're actually very good. I just have never got round to buying one and using it consistently. This is just water spray, just needing to spray a bit to keep the paint open. The way that stencil moved just then, of course, is one of the hazards of doing it in this way. Print number 1. Now I'm going to turn that around and do the other side of that fabric thus. Okay, I need to really fill this roller again. It's a rainy day here in Marundi, which is very nice. If you can hear the highway traffic noise outside, you might notice that the way the traffic swishing by is because it's wet out there. It has a certain sort of sound. Okay, print number 2, and now in a previous video you may have seen me literally cut the stencil out of a piece of waste plastic, and I'm going to use it to fill up the slightly vacant space at the top here. There. Now I'll lift this fabric so that you can see the result underneath. I probably won't be using this print for this garment, but it's going to create some kind of interesting background in the future for some other project. Now I'm going to literally wipe this clean on here. Just using a wet chucks cloth. As you can probably tell from the edges of my work table, my workroom is extremely chaotic. It's very messy. I just have this very small workspace here, and there are literally mounds of fabric on either side, all over the place. So this is one of the very few flat spaces I have to clean the stencils. This piece of cloth is just a scrap that I often put clean stencils on or do rough prints on. Now this is a little piece of patchwork fabric that I've prepared for the skirt. It's been patched together yesterday. I'm going to apply this triangle print here. Okay, now, yeah, I think I'll do the triangles going down that whole panel. I should have mixed this paint better. I haven't really mixed the white into there very well. It's causing slightly patchy prints, but that's just fine. Actually looks quite interesting. There, I like that. I think that's worked well, and I'm going to finish the video at this stage.